everybody, Jack from FantasyCan here. Welcome to our must-have quarterbacks video. Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys all to subscribe, and let's try and get this video up to about 20 likes. Let's get into it. So the first person I want to talk about is someone who I have been extremely confused as to why he's received so much hate after the breakout season that he had last year. Jared Goff finishing 7th amongst quarterbacks. Goff averaged about 20 points per game and played all 16 games. Now, he wasn't the elite quarterback that a lot of people want to have when they're playing fantasy football, but he was still a more than solid guy. He was putting up good numbers week in, week out. And I really don't see a reason as to why that would stop. We still have Brandon Cooks on the team. We still have Cooper Kupp. We still have Robert Woods. All these weapons. Todd Gurley's a little banged up, but they also got that new running back Henderson who's going to be doing just fine replacing him if that comes to it. But the thing I still don't understand is why people have shafted him so much in rankings. He's around the 11th ranked quarterback in most places I've seen. Goff is looking to have a season to where he bounces back a little bit too. He did have a little bit of struggles kind of down the stretch. He had a couple games where he put up some pretty bad numbers. One against the Bears, the other against Denver. So decent defenses have been kind of a struggle for him. But still, Goff has put up good numbers for the most of the time. Goff isn't one of those guys you want to just jump out, grab right away. But he is one of the people that are going to be sitting there kind of later in the rounds that are 8 to 10. So if you're looking for a quarterback around there, which is a good time to look for a quarterback, by the way, he's a great guy to pick up. Next person we're going to talk about is someone who is very popular amongst everyone, really. We're talking about Baker Mayfield. So obviously Baker is this big guy that everyone's trying to grab because of how crazy that offense got over this offseason. Odell is out there on the field. He already had Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, not to mention Kareem Hunt, who's coming in week 8-ish. This team looks really scary, and with Baker at the helm, you got to feel good about how many fantasy points you're going to be collecting. Taking a look at what Baker did last year, there wasn't anything too crazy, but you can see a lot of promise in his rookie year. Near the end of the season, he picks it up a little bit after hitting a consistent 15 3-game slide. But Baker's really shown what he can do, and let's also take in note for the beginning of the season that's when Hugh Jackson was the coach, so there was a little bit of problems there. Baker's going to be one of your guys that gets drafted sooner rather than later because of how big everyone is on him. I would like to take him somewhere in the 5th round if I could, which really isn't the worst time for a quarterback, but I would rather wait and pick Jared Goff. It's just Baker is still unproven, and even though we see so many good things right there, we don't want to be jumping the gun too hard because there's still a really good chance that we could get burned. If he just has a regular season, everyone's going to be disappointed, so that's why we need to temper our expectations here a little bit with Baker. Now, the last person I want to talk about is someone who has gotten consistently boned in rankings every single year, and that's Philip Rivers. There hasn't been a single website that I've seen that has Rivers anywhere above 16th. 16th. This is a guy who finished 11th in points for quarterbacks last year, and the guy who's been consistently around the top 10 every single year. But he's just getting disrespected over and over and over again. Taking a look at what he did last year, you can see that the point values are there. He slowed down a little bit near the end of the season, and the last 2 games were kind of bad, but they were playing Baltimore and Denver. Again, good defenses, so I'm not going to lose my mind there. Even then, can we just talk about how good the Chargers are and how much their offense should be just going and running through Philip Rivers? There's no way that he is going to finish below 15 in quarterback points. And I see him finishing somewhere around the top 10, way closer than that, probably around 12, 11, 10, 9, something like there. So this is an absolute bargain. You can pick up Philip Rivers as your backup quarterback, and you can still have one of a top producing guy. So if you're about to do a strategy where you switch between quarterbacks, you'll draft 2 and pick whichever one's doing better, has a better matchup that week. Philip Rivers is definitely someone you should look onto. Big Ben, Philip Rivers, those types of guys that are going to be putting up a lot of points but are just old. It's really not a terrible idea in redraft leagues to kind of go for an older quarterback because he's going to be throwing the ball a lot, odds are. Okay guys, well that does it for this video. Thank you guys all so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Check out our Instagram and our social media so you can stay updated on all the stuff that we are doing out there. Thank you guys all so much, and I will see you later.